you for joining us. I'm Joy.
And I'm Laura.
And this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into Season 3, Episode 12, Usin Bello.
I did not know that was how you said that. Like, once you told me, it made perfect sense to me. I've been saying Justin Bello in my head this entire time. And then I was thinking like Bello, Bella, pretty boy, you know? I was like, what does this mean? And then I'm pretty sure that the Italian con, like I think it's the con in Italy, is always called Usin Bello. This entire time I've been reading it as Justin Bello. So,
well, I had to look it up. I watched a whole load of YouTube videos of like army guys saying how to say
it. Amazing. You were very serious, and we appreciate that. And now you've taught us all how to actually pronounce this.
I knew it was like a war thing, so I was like, I'm gonna look it up to make sure I say it properly.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell the people what it means?
Oh, well, I did find a thing here that says the title is a direct reference to a plot element. Usin Bello means justice in war and refers to the guidelines for fighting well once war has begun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, army stuff.
Army stuff. What did you think of this episode? What was your hot take on this episode?
I liked the action. I still don't like Henrikson. It reminded me of Croatoan as well, a bit to start with.
Yeah.
Because it was all being stuck in one building and fighting people on the outside who were trying to kill them. And also not knowing who the bad guy was, because we didn't know who was possessed for to start with until when Henrikson was possessed, for example. And in Croatoan, we didn't know who was infected.
That poor doctor lady. They're all like,
oh yeah.
You'll have the answers. She was like, what do you mean? And then
why have you not come up with a cure in 20 minutes?
There's sulfur in the blood. Like actual powder trails of sulfur in places. I'm so glad they stopped doing that. Because like it was getting so sick. Oh, speaking of that, I was watching a clip of Jared and Jensen at a panel on a con. And somebody asked them, like, do you ever just sometimes slip into Sam and Dean when you guys are on your own? Like, do you ever, like, play around and just, like, slip into that?
Sam!
And, yeah. And they have this whole conversation about it that I did repost to our stories. That's amazing. But my favorite part is Jared will say, every once in a while I'll turn around. And Jensen will be like, do you smell that? And Jared will say, yeah, and it's not sulfur. And then he makes this evil, happy expression. And Jensen just loses it and starts laughing. Because I feel like we've all kind of probably seen behind the scenes about Jared's eating habits and then also Jared's smells. And there's so many outtakes of Jensen being trapped with Jared in the car when his eating habits have made the smells and just Jensen just dying, like gasping for air like a fish and begging to be let out of the scene. And I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I liked that reel because you said that to me. It was funny.
Yeah. I love the part where Jared and Jensen are talking and they're just riffing about it and they really get into the idea and then Jared gets all excited and he's like, maybe we should. And then I can't remember if it's Jared or Jensen who says that they should dress up as Sam and Dean for Halloween. And Jensen's like, it'd be the easiest Halloween costume ever. And then he's like, and we look just like them. And everybody died laughing. It was so funny. It was so good. And like all I can think about is, can you imagine how unbelievably cool it would be if that was your town that they rocked up in the Impala dressed as Sam and Dean? Like, well, I don't even know what I would do with myself. Like, I feel like I would be really tempted to rock up and be like, so there's a mysterious case over here where there's definitely a werewolf, I don't know. But you would just like, it would be awesome. That would be like the top of my wish list. I feel like I can't think of anything cooler than Jensen and Jared being Sam and Dean on Halloween with the Impala. Like, oh, it's amazing.
That would be cool. We should dress up as them for Halloween.
Are you gonna be Sam and I'll be Dean?
Yeah.
I'll just walking around being like, Sammy, son of a bitch. Every once in a while, I'll see a piece of con footage and I'll be like, man, I wish I was there. It's kind of like the same thing as like you'll see a really cool piece of footage from an amazing concert like the Rolling Stones from the 60s or something. You'll be like, oh, I wish I was there. I have that same feeling when I see clips like that from conventions. I'm just like, it would be so cool to be part of that on the day while it's happening.
Yeah, it would be good to go to one day.
We definitely will have to. We'll have to add it to the road trip. Laura, add it to the road trip.
This is going to be a very expensive road trip and take a very long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe by the time we're finished recording the podcast at the end of the 6 years, we'll save up enough money to be able to do some of it.
I have a fun fact from the special features.
Ooh, tell me about it. It's for my nemesis, isn't it?
Yeah. So Sarah Gamble wrote this episode and she was saying that originally the new head demon bad guy was going to be a guy. But then she said that she thought it should be a woman this time and then pitched the like Lilith thing to Kripke. And then she also said making her a little girl instead of a woman would be a good idea because nothing is creepier than a little girl. And I was like, yep, that's true. And then she said making her British made her even creepier. And I was like,
rude.
Was she British?
No, I didn't get that either.
I was like, I'm not sure if she was. I didn't pick up on it if she was.
I didn't hear it either.
Nah, I don't know. We'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, creepy children. She's a fan.
or extremely not a fan, I guess. She was like, this is the most terrifying thing, a little girl child.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember thinking, why the fuck is Lilith a tiny child? I mean, like, I got that it was creepy child stuff. And I was like, oh, creepy child. Laura will hate that. But then I was just like, she would be so much more menacing as an adult. And it also make more sense because she's supposed to be the mother of demons in the lore, isn't she?
Well, this is what I had a question later to ask you. I'm like, is this supposed to be like actual Lilith? Or was it just that they just chose a cool name?
I don't know. Is my answer
because I thought that as well. Because I was like, if she's supposed to be Lilith, then why is she a little girl? But then I was like, well, maybe she's just a Lilith, not the Lilith.
Yeah. I'm going to Google it because I don't remember if they ever say. Okay, so it says Lilith in the Supernatural television series is not directly based on Lilith.
So they just chose a cool name.
She's inspired by Lilith, but she's not supposed to be a direct representation of biblical Lilith.
Oh, okay. But inspired by that still means that she is based on them, really.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how the character turns out then.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Laura, do you want to give us the synopsis?
Yes, okay then. So this is season 3, episode 12, Use in Bello. The original air date for this episode was February 21st, 2008. Sam and Dean are arrested after Bella lets the police know of their whereabouts to get them off her tail, and they are held in a small town jail. FBI agent Henriksen arrives to transfer them to a maximum security prison where he says they will be held until trial. The station is soon besieged by demons, however, and Sam and Dean are forced to work with Henriksen to come up with a plan and fight them. With help from the sheriff's deputy and Nancy the secretary, they lure all of the demons inside the building, trap them, and then exorcise them. Following their success, Sam and Dean leave after Henriksen says he'll call it in and come up with a lie to tell the powers that be. But then Lilith, the new big bad demon in town, arrives and kills everyone inside the police station, including Henriksen. Ruby, who tried to help them earlier, but left when they didn't like her plan, tells Sam and Dean what's happened and gets mad, saying they need to listen to her next time. But she does also give them something to protect them against Lilith for now.
Yeah. That's how it went down. I like that Lilith is the big bad, but she's also tiny.
Yeah. Tiny little girl.
Yeah. Tiny creepy kid. My summation of the first scene is hilarious. I don't know if I can even really call it a summation, but it's actually, in my opinion, funnier because it's so unhinged in that it's like shorthand. I literally wrote, on the trail of Bello for stealing the Colt, Monument, Colorado. Sexy break in. Are you sure this is Bella's room? I'd say so. Wigs. Because he just pulls up
Wigs.
her wigs, but it's wigs. Um, Bella calls. Dean looks at Sam like, what do I do? And Sam shrugs. Dean acts like it could be Ghostface on the phone. Because, like, did you see how he picked up the phone? It was so weird and so random. He has his arm all the way out here. And then he,
Yeah.
like, really dramatically puts it to his ear. And it's so funny.
I wondered if he was worrying about fingerprints or something.
I kind of thought that because I rewound it about 6 times to try to figure out what exactly he was doing. Why was he doing it that way? And then one of the things that I thought of was fingerprints, but then I thought, I've watched him wipe his fingerprints down so many
Yeah.
times. So I just felt like he was like, he low-key suspected that it was Bella and that maybe he shouldn't answer the phone because it would lead to fuckery, but then maybe he was afraid there would be more fuckery if he didn't answer the phone, which was where I got the ghost face vibe from. Um, and it just gets funnier and funnier. And then she's like, Dean, sweetie, are you there? And he's like, where are you? And I wrote, hot. And I made the hand gesture, the Italian hand gesture of approval. I don't know how else to explain that hand gesture, frankly. And then Bella says 2 states away by now. And Dean says, where? And Bella says, where's our usual quippy banter? I miss it. And Dean says, I want it back, Bella. Now. And she says, your little pistol, you mean? And then she looks at the Colt. But the best part is there must have been Mr. and Mrs. Towels. Because you can just see the MR on the towel that she has the Colt in. And it's the same kind of like James Bond, Bond girl, Catwoman, Batman vibes that I've had from
Yeah.
them. There's so much heat between these two characters. It is great. Okay. I loved it. And she's like, sorry, I can't at the moment. And Dean says, you understand how many people are going to die if you do this? And Bella's like, what exactly is it that you think I plan to do with it? And Dean says, take the only weapon we have against an army of demons and sell it to the highest bidder. And Bella says, you know nothing about me. And he's like, I know I'm going to stop you. And she says, tough words for a guy who can't even find me. And Dean says, oh, I'll find you, sweetheart. You know why? Because I have absolutely nothing better to do than to track you down. And Bella says, that's where you're wrong. You're about to be quite occupied. And Dean looks at Sam and says, did you really think I wouldn't take precautions? And Bella, I put Bella's on a side quest, possibly being heroic, and I support her. Because she was so offended when he said, you're just going to take this gun and sell it to the highest bidder. I was like, no, there's backstory here.
Yeah, I had a question to ask. What is she going to do? Obviously, it's a rhetorical question because you can't tell me. But
I can't tell you.
What is she going to do with the cult? Because I thought, she's just going to sell it.
No. So, in my heart of hearts, I don't think that that's what her character would do. I can't remember what she actually does, but I'm pretty sure that it is, in fact, a side quest and that it leads to us learning more about her as a character.
Ah, cool.
So, I'm excited to see that. But, like, whenever I watch this episode, I so badly want to know what's going on in her storyline, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
She's such a great character. I love the banter it's hot. Like the back and forth between Bella and Dean is so sexy. It's like it's full enemies to lovers trope, okay? It like that really is the vibe. And they're still in the I hate you phase. That's how it comes across and there's just so much chemistry. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I want to know. I want to see more of her and what her backstory is.
And then the cops bust in.
Uh-oh.
And they arrest Sam and Dean. And it's not looking good for the boys.
And then we see it's Henrikson as well. And I was like, oh, I forgot about him.
I saw him and I was like, oh, this is not going to be fun.
No.
Whatever happens next, it's just going to be dick move after dick move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he just goes, hi, guys. It's been a while.
Yeah. I wrote ridiculous trope cop dialogue. That's
Well, in that
literally
opening scene.
that's literally my note for that entire sequence up until Melvin gets angry and says, "Look, agent, this ain't my first rodeo."
Oh, in the next scene. Well,
Yeah.
my first note is Henrikson walks into a police precinct and starts waving his stick around.
That's,
Because
like,
he's like,
fairly
"Right,
accurate.
I'm in charge now." And then he's asking where everyone is. The sheriff says he's already
Yeah.
sent everyone he could to come in and at an hour's notice, and points out that they're a small town because he's like, "Where is everyone?" He's like expecting hundreds of people to turn up. It's like, yeah, read the room.
Yeah.
Um, and then he goes to the cells and lets a drunk guy go free. The sheriff's like, "Excuse me, you can't release my prisoners." Sorry, my voice went funny. And then to start with, I was like, why did he release him? But it's because it was the only cell. I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Then the sheriff and Henriksen have a conversation about bringing the most dangerous criminals you have ever laid your eyeballs on. Think Hannibal Lecter and his half-wit brother. And I wrote, rude. Also, is Sam or Dean Hannibal? Because all right, no offense to Dean, but that made it seem like Sam was Hannibal. But in the past, Henriksen has said that Dean is the dangerous one.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what this is what I put down. That back and forth is what I put down. And when he said, "Think Hannibal Lecter and his half-wit little brother," I was like, he just called Sam a half-wit little brother.
Oh, I didn't hear the little brother.
Yeah, little brother. So his line is, "The most dangerous criminals you've ever laid your eyes on. Think Hannibal Lecter and his half-wit little brother. Do you know what these guys do for kicks? Dig up graves and mutilate corpses. They're not just killers, Sheriff. They're Satan-worshipping nutbag killers."
Where has he got Satan worshipping from, though?
He thinks that the ritualistic stuff that he's seen means they must be satanic.
Well, he
Um,
clearly doesn't know anything about them because Sam is smart and they don't worship Satan.
yeah, I love that that's her immediate defense. But yeah, I just thought this is the wildest thing. 'Cause, like, Dean being kind of American Psycho is something we've talked about a lot. So the
Yeah,
comparing Dean to Hannibal Lecter, it when you know what he thinks Dean has done, because he's confusing him with all the shapeshifter Dean shit, isn't he?
yeah, yeah,
Um, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like that part actually makes sense. But then it's the whole calling Sam his half-wit little brother, because in his profiling of Sam, this whole time he said that Sam's easily led and manipulated by Dean, basically, and Dean's the mastermind behind everything, which is so fucking funny because Dean's kind of a himbo and Sam is a genius. So it just goes to show how absolutely incompetent Henriksen is.
yeah. He's an idiot.
He is an idiot. But yeah, all of that was just cop trope, because the whole thing was, like Laura says, like a bit of a dick measuring, dick waving situation, which is in every cop drama ever. And this whole episode, I was just like, whoa, cop trope. And that was it. Like that was like
Yeah,
my takeaway for most of the episode. The whole thing was just trope after trope after trope. And I was like, really? Who wrote this? And now we know.
Sarah,
Sarah, my nemesis.
nemesis slash best friend,
Yeah, I know. I love her, and
depending
then
on
I
the
don't
day.
love her, and then I love her. Yeah, it's roulette is what it is. It's writing roulette. There is actually one point where I say, if I had handed this dialogue in to my script writing teacher, I would have failed. And I wouldn't have just failed. Like, he would have made me read it out loud in front of the class and laughed at me.
Well, that's mean.
He wasn't a great guy, but some of the dialogue just sort of kills me. And then the next part that I really liked was the slapstick and chains,
Yeah,
because they're in those chains that like link them together by their feet, and so their hands are shackled and their feet are shackled, and their feet are also shackled to each other by this length of chain, and they go walking into their cell. And Sam decides that he's going to walk to the bars, while Dean tries to walk to sit down on the bed, which is completely reasonable. He then gets yanked down by Sam, who turns around and is like, "Dean, come on." And I was like, "Shut up, Satan. He just went to sit and you yanked him on his face." Because literally, Dean gets pulled onto his face by Sam,
yeah.
who like isn't thinking about the fact that he's really tall and has lots of momentum, and just smashes Dean around. and then blames Dean for it. And I thought that was hilarious. And then there's like, not really, but feels like 3 minutes of like chain clanking and smashing into each
Yeah.
other in order to just sit down. And it was hilarious. And then the next thing I wrote down was just blah blah cop exposition.
Yeah, the chain's fun. It's like slapstick Jacob Marley.
It really, really is. Marley and Marley. Ooh. It's so funny. I love it so much.
The only bit that we just need to mention before we move on is because we skipped it.
Because of blah blah cop exposition.
Is just that Nancy, like we meet Nancy, and she is clearly being made to be like a God-fearing
Catholic girl.
Yeah, she's got like a rosary and a statue of Mary on her desk.
Yeah.
That's important for later, so I just
that
needed
is
to add
important.
that in.
Thank you, continuity girl. You're like a superhero.
So then Henriksen calls Groves, who's like his superior, isn't it? He's the who's the guy in X-Files?
Skinner.
Yeah. He's like his Skinner, isn't he?
He's his Skinner.
To his Mulder.
Yes, he is the Skinner to his Mulder, yes.
And he tells him he's got the Winchesters and they'll be at a Supermax by morning via an armoured bus. And Graves is like, I was betting on your headstone reading, couldn't catch the Winchester boys. And I wrote, sick burn.
Yeah, that was a good burn.
And then Graves is also like, wait, a bus? No way, you let them get away last time, so I'm sending a chopper and I'm coming too. And then he tells Henriksen to watch them until he gets there. And then Henriksen tells the sheriff that the chopper's on his way. The sheriff says they don't have a helipad, so Henriksen is like, well, clear the parking lot then. So
but in a really asshole way.
Yeah, because he's just had a dressing down from his superior, so then he has to take it out on the sheriff.
He's just a shithead, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I liked him more on the third or fourth watch through. I started to sympathize with him a little bit, but
yeah, you can see from his point of view, he thinks that they are serial killers, and you can kind of see why. But
yeah,
it's because we know that he's an idiot and they're not. That we're like, no, don't.
And then he says he has the bit about the string of 4 angry ex-wives.
Oh yeah,
and I was like,
oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, same. Same. And then I was like, that's if you ever need to know what kind of a man someone is. Broad generalization, okay, but if they have a shit ton of ex-wives, probably not a great one.
Yeah.
You know? It is a sweeping generalization, but usually not a good sign.
Especially if they don't take any responsibility and they're like, oh yeah, it was always the wife's fault. Was it though?
It's a very valid question. Yeah. There is this back and forth between Henriksen and Sam and Dean where he goes in there to gloat and Dean is giving him banter back. So Henriksen is delivering this line while Dean is kind of like smirking at him, taking the piss out of him with his facial expression. And Henriksen says, I got a lot to celebrate. I mean, after all, seeing you two in chains. And Dean says, you kinky son of a bitch. We don't swing that way. And I wrote, sexy Dean is sexy. Bad boy. Trademark. And then I wrote, boring cop monologue. And my next note says, Nancy laughs when Henriksen gets paperwork dumped by Steven.
Well, okay, so the boring cop dialogue is just basically telling them that they're going to get kept in a Supermax prison in Nevada until trial in isolation and that they'll never see each other again. So he's like threatening that they're just going to be split up.
Yeah.
And then the chopper arrives and that's where we're then up to with the paperwork.
Yeah, so basically when Steven gets to the office, he has this enormous set of files of paperwork and dumps him on Henriksen and tells him to do the paperwork basically. And Henriksen is absolutely miserable about it and Nancy literally laughs at him. And I loved that part because it's like, you know that she's already read him and she already knows that he's kind of a douchebag and she finds this hilarious. And I thought that was magnificent. I also found out, fun fact, that Steven, the actor who plays Steven, was in the original 21 Jump Street, like the OG 80s version. And I thought that
Groves?
Was funny.
Yeah. It's Steven Groves. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he was in the one of the very funny cop dramas from back in the day.
Yeah. Well, cool.
And I thought that was a funny little almost reference Easter egg kind of a thing.
Um, my note said that Groves arrives, refuses to shake Henrikson's hand, and gives him paperwork instead.
Oh yeah. Henrikson goes, he's like, hi. And he thinks he's on a first name basis with him, doesn't he? And then this guy is just like, fuck you, buddy. Refuses to shake his hand and just dumps all the paperwork on him. And Henrikson is like, oh.
Yeah. And then he goes straight to the cell where Sam and Dean are and shoots them. I bet he shoots Dean, and Sam tries to get the gun from his hand as he continues shooting at Dean. We then see that he's got black eyes and realise he's being possessed by a demon. Sam starts chanting Latin at him, thirst trap, and his head
Mhm.
starts shaking. It's like it's a new effect they're doing on this episode with the demons,
Yeah.
where they I don't know how you say it. It's good and creepy though.
It's like a possession fit is the best word that I can think of to describe it because it's quite like rocking back and forth, but at a
Like
hyper
really quick.
speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's the
creepy.
only way that I can think of to describe it. I can't think of a better word.
Yeah, okay. And then the demon exits Grove's body, but first tells them it's going to be a long night, fellas. And then the demon dust exits through a vent in the ceiling. Classic.
I wrote down Steven shoots Dean. Sam grabs the gun through the bars. Dude does the demon blink to try to scare Sam into letting go. Sam chants Latin. Laura is thrilled, and it is hot. Demon. Dumb one-liner staying true to bad cop dramas. Which was sorry, I've got to cut this short. It's going to be a long night, fellas. And I just wrote eye roll. And then after that, I have typical cop stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You can tell I was not Sarah Gamble. Sarah Gamble. Oh dear. So, because we have demons entering the chat now, I am going to drop in my Easter egg about the location. So, the location is Monument, Colorado. And I looked this up, and like the jail and the setting and stuff that they're at is not actually in Monument. So I was like, well, there's probably actually a reason why it's set in Monument then. And I think it's because of this. So this overview that I found says that Monument, Colorado is rumored to have haunted sites, but particularly the area around the abandoned barns and the quote satanic house. So while the town itself is not widely known for its hauntings, paranormal accounts suggest that areas like the Old Town and specific buildings may be connected to several spooky events. The quote unquote satanic house is a specific location mentioned, and it's also associated with the rumor of being built on a burial ground, further adding to its haunted reputation. This house, also called the Satanic Barn or Satanic Property, is located directly in Monument itself and is rumored to be haunted, abandoned, decayed, and a creepy property with items like decapitated dolls and nooses hanging from the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Why dolls?
I knew that was gonna get you. I also found this local radio station did a tour of it, and there were photos of different parts of the inside of the house, and there was some very creepy and weird graffiti. There were pentagrams in different places and stuff like that, which, like, I'm a witch, so that doesn't bother me. A lot of that is just stupid. But there was one bit where I was like, "Ooh," and all the walls have been smashed in different ways, and someone wrote something like, "She's watching you from the walls," or "She comes
Ugh.
from the walls."
No, you don't want
And I went, nope. No, 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 no." Um, so I believe that the reason why this is set in Monument is because of this satanic house. And everything that I found about it, that's what it's called everywhere. And it seems to have been labeled that way for a while. It's been abandoned for quite a while, and it's also near the older part of town. So pretty sure that that's why it's in Monument. I
that.
don't know
Cool.
if I want to add it to the road trip, if I'm honest, because it
Nah.
looks gross.
And there's dolls.
Yeah. Just nooses and dolls and like potential murderers waiting to sacrifice us for kicks.
Someone in the wall watching us.
Yeah, I say we give it a miss.
Yeah. Rejected.
It is rejected. We will not be going. No, thank you. Another thing that I thought was really funny is Sam when Sam is applying pressure to Dean's shoulder and he's like, "Stop being such a wuss." And Dean literally has like a bullet hole in his shoulder. And this is a theme, isn't it? Because Joe calls Dean a wuss as well when he gets shot that other time.
Yeah.
So it's like anytime Dean gets shot, everybody's like, "Stop being such a wuss." And
Aw.
the thing is like he can't say anything because this is 100% something that he would say to and probably has said to Sam. So like I can't even defend him against it because like he would definitely do that to them.
Yeah.
So it's just them getting their own back on Dean. But it's both sympathetic and funny.
Yeah. So yeah, so Graves was possessed and he's like now not possessed, but his body falls to the floor. The sheriff, Henrikson, Reedy, and other police hear the commotion and rush into the cell, guns drawn. And this does look really bad, in fairness. So there's an FBI guy on the floor, probably dead. Sam's holding a gun, and
Yeah.
Sam's telling them he didn't shoot them and to check the body as there's no blood. And then Reedy goes because Reedy's Henrikson's partner, isn't he?
Yeah.
Reedy goes to check and confirms that there's no bullet wound. Dean says he's probably been dead for months. Henriksen demands that they tell him what's happening, and Dean says he won't believe them. Sam tells him that he was possessed, and Henriksen doesn't believe them. And tells Reedy to fire up the chopper as they're taking them now. Reedy gets on the radio to speak to the chopper, but there's just static. He goes outside and finds lots of dead officers. He gets his gun out and makes his way over to the helicopter where there are more dead people. And then he says this into his walkie-talkie radio thing, and then there's an explosion.
I wrote the part where he says, "Possessed, right, fire up the chopper, we're taking them out of here now." And Dean says, "Yeah, do that." And he is bleeding and angry, and he's like, "That is the best idea that you've ever had." And that part was so funny. And then there's the part where Reedy says, "I think they're all dead," when he goes outside, and I
Mm.
wrote, "Thank you, Sherlock Holmes." And then I wrote, "The helicopter explodes for no reason other than drama. Reedy is completely fine, even though physics say no." A demon grabs Reedy and does something we don't see because for some reason this stays a headshot. Reedy screams. Is good scream.
Good scream. And then basically inside there's panic. So the sheriff is loading a shotgun, the deputy is rushing around, Nancy is on the phone, but it isn't working. And Henriksen is just standing still, staring. And then the lights cut out, and I wrote, "Uh-oh."
Oh.
And then we cut to Sam and Dean, and Dean's like, "That can't be good." And the sheriff is saying that they're going right now, and Henriksen finally comes out of his daze and says that no one is going anywhere. The sheriff points out that his partner is out there, as are his men, and Henriksen says that they will die too if they go out there, as they're clearly under siege. He also tells them to be professionals. And I wrote, fair point, but he's still a dick.
He did do it in a pretty dickish manner.
Mm.
I wrote, "Oh my god, the cop drama dialogue is killing me."
Yeah.
And then Melvin's line is, "My men, Agent Henriksen." Agent Henriksen doesn't answer. And he's like, "My men, my men." And then Phil goes, "What the hell is happening out there?" And Nancy's like, "I can't get a line. All the phones are out." Melvin goes, "Henriksen, 4 of my men." Nancy, "The internet, my cell, it's all dead. How can it all be dead?" And I was like, this is literally a bad 90s summer blockbuster cop movie. Like, just everything is a trope. We've seen it before. Yeah, I couldn't take it seriously.
No. I know that, like, I mean, I don't necessarily know what's good writing and bad writing like you do, but when I find it, like, I'm finding it boring writing my notes, then it must be
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, I
not
can't be
great.
bothered to write all this.
No, it's not great. It's not great writing.
No,
Um, yeah.
but
And then it's the bullet hole scene. You're right. I was ahead
yeah,
of myself.
although I have to say, I just have to point out, because we're horrible to Henriksen most of the time, that he does one good thing, because he goes over to ask Nancy if she's okay, because he can tell that she's scared.
Okay, I found it gross, and I'm gonna tell you why I found it gross, because I felt like he was trying to also make a move and make her wife number 5 or 6 or
Ugh.
whatever number he was on. I
I did
wanted to
think it was very like, oh, it's because she's a girl, so she can't.
Yeah, he was
But
just
yeah,
like
I did
just
think he was trying to be nice.
yeah, it felt like a mixed bag because it feels like he's trying to be a good guy, but then it also was like, oh, because and the line is weird too, because like He says something like, "Are you okay?" And she says, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And then he's like, "Are you really okay?" And then he's like she says, "No." And she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't think so." And that was the part that
Yeah.
got me where I was like, "Shut up. Just just shut all the way up. And then shut up some more."
Okay, you changed my mind. He's still a dick.
Yeah. Sorry. So it's this scene where Sam and Dean are inside this cell and Sam is helping Dean with his bullet hole. And Dean basically makes this exclamation that's like this pained kind of a sound. And Sam to Dean is, "All right, don't be such a wuss." As he's literally applying to the actual hole, the bullet hole in Dean's
Yeah,
shoulder.
he's been
And Dean
shot with a
just,
gun.
yeah, Dean just gives this tiny sigh. 'Cause it's like he knows that he can't say like, he wants to say something is my impression, but he knows he can't say anything, and it makes it so fucking funny. It's like, on the one
Yeah.
hand, Sam is going really hard with Dean this episode because like, he yanked him down on his face and then blamed Dean for it, and now he's putting pressure on the bullet hole, and Dean just sighs. He doesn't say, "Ah." He just like, "Ah." And Sam is like, "Shut up." So, I don't know why they're fighting, but Sam is very mad. I kind of wonder if Sam thinks that Dean has created this situation by pissing Bella off, or if he's jealous of the vibe between
He's jealous.
Bella and Dean because we know he had a special dream about Bella, don't we?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like it's jealous Sam is jealous and he's taking it out on Dean.
Also, it could be actually no, because do you remember when Sam got shot in the shoulder in the funny episode? I forgot what it's called. And then because Bella shoots him in the shoulder, and then Dean is having to
Oh,
go at
yeah,
Bella
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
So he
Yeah,
was more
yeah, yeah.
sympathetic to Sam
Yeah, he
when he
was.
was
He
shot.
really was. 'Cause he goes, "You don't just go around shooting people." And she's like, "Come on, you've definitely shot people." And he's like, "Well, she has me there." And Sam's in the background just holding his shoulder, looking pained the entire time, just wounded. Um, that was Bad Day at Black Rock.
Oh yeah,
And it is
aka the funny episode.
the funny episode. It is hilarious. It is actually hilarious. It's a great episode. I love that episode so much.
Yeah. So Henriksen still thinks they are behind it and asks them what the plan is because he thinks the siege is to get them out to like free them.
Mm.
They're trying to explain again that it's not them and that he should let them out so they can save everyone. And Henriksen's like, "From what? And don't you dare say demons." And I was like, "But it is demons." And then he leaves.
It is demons, though. My notes for this scene say more cop tropes. This whole script is trope. Henriksen, what's the plan? Kill everyone in the station and bust you two out? And Dean's like, what the hell are you talking about? And Henriksen says, I'm talking about your psycho friends. I'm talking about a bloodbath. And I wrote, I am so sorry. And my eyes rolled so hard they fell out. And now I cannot read my notes at this moment in time
Oh dear.
because it was so bad. Like I'm talking about your psycho friends. I'm talking about a bloodbath. It's just like every 90s cop movie
Yeah.
ever. And I just couldn't handle it at all. And then Sam asks Dean how the shoulder is. And Dean takes away this massive wad of like toilet paper with this huge blood stain on it and it says, "It's awesome." And then he throws it away and he says, "I'll live, if we get out of here alive. So you got a plan?" And then that was the part where I said, if I wrote this dialogue, my screenwriting professor would have failed me. Because it's where he says, "I'll live, if we get out of here alive." And
Yeah. It's like
it's
what?
supposed to be funny, but it's just such a stupid line. Like, Jensen does his very best, and it is not his fault. He's a precious baby angel. But that is a shit line to give an actor. Like, it's just not funny.
Yeah.
If I would have done that, he would have had me read it in front of the class and then done a slow clap.
He sounds horrible.
It was pretty bad, but that was also terrible writing. Sarah Gamble, slow clap.
So Dean then notices Nancy peeking around the corner. Sam tries to get her to help them and he asks for a towel for Dean's shoulder. And I like how Sam was the one speaking to her because he's better with talking to people.
I did actually start thinking this episode. I was like, headcanon, as an autistic person, I'm starting to think that Dean is autistic. Like, I'm starting to
Maybe,
think
yeah.
Dean has a touch of autism because he cannot do peopling. He can be charming when it's required, and he also has, like, 0 sense of danger. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, oh." Like, Dean might also be autistic. He might be one of my people. That would make so much sense.
So, yeah, so Sam tells her they're not the bad guys, and then she walks off, and they think that she's not going to help because she's just like walked off. But then she
Yeah.
reappears with a towel. And then I write, this bit was weird because Sam was being all sweet, but then he
Mm.
grabs her arm and pulls her to the railing,
Mm.
making her scream. And I know that it's like later we know this because he was trying to steal her rosary to make the holy toilet water.
The holy toilet water. Yeah.
But it was just like really jarring to see Sam do this. But then I put, maybe it just triggered my trust issues.
So I wrote, I am sorry. You're telling me that Sam, who is an amazing pickpocket, couldn't have done this without slamming Nancy into steel bars. That my sweet Sam would ever do that. No, rejected.
Yeah. To quote me in an earlier episode, Sam would never.
Exactly. That is what I was going for. Okay, but I couldn't remember exactly what you said, so I did a paraphrase of it. I think that's a lie. I don't think like Sam doesn't need to do that. Like we literally just watched Mystery Spot where he pickpocketed that old dude's
Yeah.
keys so easily.
Loads of
She's
times. And he had
reaching
100
in.
times practice.
Yeah. He does not need to grab Nancy like that in order to do that. And I don't think that Sam would ever do that. He's also so fucking charming. A fucking god was like, yeah, fine, I'll resurrect your brother for you, whatever. Like, dude, come on now. Come on. No, Sarah. No.
Yeah. Stop being mean to Sam.
Go sit in your corner, Sarah.
We should probably point out it probably wasn't just her writing this.
Probably, but she's the head writer, so she gets all the credit and all the blame.
All the blame.
Whoever's the head writer, there's usually in a screenwriting situation, there's usually anywhere from like 5 to 15 people in that room contributing. Yeah. But the head writer gets all of the glory and also all of the blame because that's what it means to be head writer. So go sit in the corner, Sarah.
So then the deputy comes in to save Nancy and threatens to shoot them if they do anything like that again. And then Dean hits Sam on the arm and says, "What the hell was that?" And I wrote, "Yeah, exactly, Dean." And then Sam holds up the rosary.
Yeah. And then we go, "Oh," but I was still like, "Nah."
Yeah.
I was like, he's better than that.
Yeah, definitely. So then we cut to a bit later. Sam says that they are sitting ducks. Dean yells that he wants a snack, and I wrote, "Of course he does."
Classic Dean. So Sam and Dean are having this conversation, and they're talking about how like this is the first time that they've ever been this directly targeted. And Dean says it's kind of wild, right? I mean, it's like they're coming for us. They've never done this before. And then he smiles and he says, it's like we got a contract on us. Think it's because we're so awesome. I think it's because we're so awesome. And then he smiles. But then Sam looks at him like you are actually an idiot. And he's like, he like shakes his head and he stops smiling. But his smile goes from like the shit-eating grin to just like, I don't know how to describe it. He does this weird O with the corner of his mouth, and it is one of the funniest things that I have ever seen in my life. He's just like, no, I didn't do that. I don't know what my face is doing. Real sorry about that. That's got to be one of my favorite Dean moments ever. He's like, they're all coming to try to kill us because we're the best. And Sam is like, bro, get a sense of danger. Dean's like, what?
I wrote that Dean's liking this way too much and Sam is really worried.
Just no sense of danger. None. And I was thinking that's such a me reaction to have. I'd be like, it's because we're awesome. We're so awesome that they're scared of us and they're coming to try to take us out.
So the sheriff comes in and opens their cell and says it's time to go. Dean, not trusting him, says that they're comfy right here, but thanks. Because he's like, no, we're just going to stay here in this safe cell.
Yeah.
Henrikson asks what he's doing, and the sheriff says they're going to make a run for it to the SWAT facility in Boulder. They argue, and then Henrikson shoots the sheriff in the head. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Sam and Dean act so quickly because they must realise straight away that he's a demon.
Yeah.
They and I also put this as a thirst trap. They disarm
Yeah.
him and maneuver him over to the toilet and stick his head down it. Sam starts speaking Latin, and we see from a point of view inside the toilet that the rosary is in there making it holy water. The deputy comes in and Dean points a gun at him, telling him to stay back, which he does. Sam pulls Henrikson's head out of the toilet and he has demon eyes and his head is sizzling from the holy water. He shoves him in again and continues the Latin. Henriksen, next time his head is out, says, "It's too late. I already called them. They're coming." Ominous. And this is where I wrote, Sam and Dean are such clever boys, knowing in a split second that he was possessed and acting so quickly.
I wrote, Sam, angry Latin Jesus, and the toilet swirly exorcises the demon in the Henriksen.
Toilet swirly.
And then there's the part where Henriksen comes to, like they've exorcised the demon, and he like comes back to consciousness, doesn't he? And he goes,
Yeah.
I shot the sheriff. And then Dean smirks, he smiles again, and he says, "But you didn't shoot the deputy." And he's so proud of himself. And both Laura and I, we were watching and we were messaging each other. Both of us were like, "But you didn't shoot the deputy."
It's so funny that he's so happy with himself.
He's so like, I'm on the same page. Honestly, I would have done the same, but he's thrilled.
I would have as well.
Yeah, and then Sam glares at Dean in absolute disbelief. Sam is like, "Read the room." And Dean looks so chastised, and I was like, this is funny. This is the funniest thing in life.
I would have definitely done that. I always have to finish sentences if it reminds me of something.
Yeah. It's like the law. It was amazing. But Sam is like, "Oh my God, someone was just murdered in front of me. Can you not?" And Dean was like, "What?" Again, that's a very autistic thing that he's doing, because it's just like social cues. None. I laughed so hard.
So did I. Yeah, I actually really did laugh out loud for that bit. They explain that he was possessed, and Dean's like, "I told you so," then gives him his gun back, and then he frees them and asks how they survive. My only note for this next scene is that Dean looks hot when Nancy is patching him up.
Oh, I have a note about that too. Okay. So it's nighttime at the office, and Sam is drawing a devil's trap on the floor with spray paint. Meanwhile, Dean is looking at the floor plans to the police station, on which we can see 2 devil's traps are drawn while Nancy takes care of his wound. She's patching him up. She's looking at him like he's a tall drink of water. I wrote, "Nancy is so into Dean," and then I wrote, "Same girl, same."
Yeah, he was really hot in this scene.
Good God, like a wounded Dean with his arms out. There's this whole meme about Jensen Ackles, and it just says, "This man is the god of arm porn, and this is why." And then there's so many different shots of just like Dean with like being injured or something with his arms out, and it's just like, there are no words. There's only thirst.
Do you think he had his top tailored to make his arms look better?
I fucking absolutely do. Like the jail uniform in that episode where they go to jail the first time. I can't remember the name of that episode now. Laura, what is it? What was that episode?
I can't remember. I just know it had the Buffy actor in it.
Hmm.
Oh, Folsom Prison Blues, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it. That's it. Johnny Cash reference. Nice. Yeah. So Dean is talking to Phil. Phil's saying they have an arsenal, and Dean's saying, yeah, it's not going to do much good. And he explains that what you actually need is lots of salt. And Phil says salt, and Dean says, "What, is there an echo in here?" And I thought that was so funny, because you see this back and forth between Dean and Nancy. Nancy clearly thirsting upon Dean, and Phil being angry about it. And so Phil's like, "Salt, what's that going to do?" And Dean's like, "Shut the fuck up, noob." And it is so funny.
So Phil is the deputy. I hadn't got his name.
Yeah,
I just keep calling him the deputy.
Yeah. So then Nancy immediately chimes in, because Dean is hot, and says there's road salt in the storeroom. And he says, perfect. We need salt in every window and every door. And then she says, "How are you holding up, Nancy?" And see, this is what Henriksen could have done but didn't do, because it's not Dean. And then she gives him a speech about how when she was little, she used to come home from church and talk about the devil to her parents, and her parents would tell her to stop being so literal. And then she's like, "I showed them, huh?" And then she finishes patching Dean up and tells him that she's pretty sure it's going to hold. And he says, "Thank you." And it's so charming. And then she says, "Sure." And it's just like, oh, the chemistry. And then Phil comes back in awkwardly with the big bags of salt, and I'm just like, "Phil, you have no chance, okay? I'm sorry. Dean Winchester, you have no chance." Um, so then he asks where the Impala is, and Phil tells him it's in the impound lot out the back. So he then goes out the back and starts opening the trunk of the Impala and pulling loads of stuff out and putting it in like a bag that he has with him. And we see a demon storm rock up. And there's all this blue lightning, and the lights in the impound lot start flickering and crackling. So then Dean grabs some amulets from the back and then turns to see the black smoke and like all of the lightning comes towards him. So he runs inside as it's closing in. And then inside the station, Sam is finishing off a devil's trap on the floor with spray paint while all the other guys are lining every window with salt. Dean runs inside and says, "They're coming, hurry." And then this is when this demon storm hits the window. Nancy's right by it and she screams.
Yeah.
Um, so then they all run into the main office area, which is where Henriksen is. Dean then tosses a gun to Sam, and from the outside, we can see that the storm is hitting the building. So we realize that it's just like thousands of demons pounding on the building. And from
Uh-oh.
the inside, you can see the smoke surrounding from the windows. The lights in the main room sort of flicker, and then everything gets a lot darker. And from the
It's
outside,
spooky.
yeah, it's spooky. So Nancy's clutching her cross like Southern women would clutch pearls. And dust starts coming down from the ceiling as the building's shaking. Because they're trying to break through all the sigils and the salt and everything. And Sam says, "Everybody okay?" And Henriksen says, "Define okay." um, and then Dean says, "Everybody needs to put these on." And then he gives them all protection necklaces and says that they'll keep them from being possessed. And Nancy says, "What about you and Sam?" Because again, Nancy is concerned for Dean's welfare because Dean, the power of the Dean. And this is when Sam and Dean pull their shirts aside, all thirst trap like, to show us their matching tattoos where they have a protective pentagram on their chests. And I was like, damn. And then I was also like, this is very rude because they don't give us any of the backstory to this at all.
Yeah.
All that's said is Henriksen says, "Smart, how long you had those?" And Sam says, "Not long enough." And that's it. That's it. It's the first
Yeah.
time we see these tattoos. We don't get any backstory. We don't get any fun, shirtless Sam and Dean getting tattooed stuff. Like, just nothing, just that, which is just silly.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures of them with these, and I knew what they were, but I thought, well, first of all, I thought they must get them a lot later, and I
Yeah.
thought there'd be a story behind it, and like we'd see it and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I totally missed this at the first time I watched it, didn't I? Because you you voice noted me and was like something about the tattoos, and I was like, what
Yeah.
what what tattoos? I just completely must have zoned out for that bit because when I watched it the second time, I was like, "Oh, how did I miss this? It's quite a big bit,
Yeah.
big scene."
Yeah. Um, I thought I was tripping because I thought I had missed a whole episode because I was like, surely there's an episode in which they get the tattoos and there's backstory. No. Turns out no.
Yeah,
Turns out they just rock up one day with the tattoos and no backstory.
yeah, because they
Um,
haven't even. Oh, I suppose they have been possessed. Actually, never mind.
mm, yeah. So it's crazy. Anyway, so we cut to Henriksen looking at Melvin's nameplate and Dean's watching him and Nancy's organizing some files when she suddenly sees a crowd of people outside and she starts naming names because she's like, "Oh, hey, I know that person." And then Sam's like, "Yeah, that's
Mm-mm.
not a person anymore."
They demons.
Um yeah, and Nancy puts two and two together and is like, "Oh, they're all possessed by that black demon smoke stuff."
Demon
And
dust.
Sam's
It's
like,
demon dust, Nancy.
"It
It's
is.
demon dust.
It is. Yeah." And Sam says, "Yeah, looks like." Um, so then we cut to Phil, who is in another room, and he grabs a chair and stands on it to look out a window, which he wipes with his hand. When he leaves, we see that the salt line is broken.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He is an
Why?
idiot.
He broke the salt line, and two, why was he even? And I didn't even say one. Hang on. One,
That was such a Dean thing that you just did. A and two.
one, he broke the salt line, and two, what was the reason? He didn't. He just kind of got his chair, stood and looked out the window for like half a second and then
Yeah.
went away again. It's like, what was the point of that?
Okay, so my
Phil?
my my hot take on Phil is again that he's jealous of Dean, and I think he wanted to like fuck up their plan and be like, "Oh, he's not that great. Look at me, Nancy. He's an
Yep.
idiot."
That doesn't make sense because then he'd be like, he's risking his life. Stupid.
Yeah, he's dumb. He's so dumb. I wrote for this part. I wrote, "Hear me out. 5 people could have squeezed into the Impala. Just fucking drive away." And then I wrote, "Oh no, not demon dust, not a demonic storm. I am so scared." I roll. And then I wrote, "Sexy tattoo reveal, no backstory. Honestly, rude. Where is that story? Where are the scenes of them get shirtless, getting all tatted up?" And then to catch us up, Dean and Henriksen are having this conversation, and Henriksen is having his little meltdown identity crisis where he says fighting off monsters with condiments. And then he says, "So, it turns out demons are real." And he starts filling his rifle with salt shells. And Dean says, "FYI, ghosts are real too. So are werewolves, vampires, changelings, evil clowns that eat people." And I was like, this is like a rundown of all of the episodes where they got. Yeah. And Henriksen says, "Okay then." And then Dean says, "If it makes you feel better, Bigfoot's a hoax." And then he smiles. And then they have this conversation where they're supposed to be bonding and we're supposed to be thinking that Henriksen is not a bad guy, but I actually wrote self-aggrandizing incel dialogue about how women are objects that they don't have, but if they did, they wouldn't fight evil. And then I wrote, from Henriksen, I hope his ex-wives are thriving.
Yeah, my only note here was string of angry ex-wives. Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then we hear glass smashing. It's Ruby.
Ruby! I don't know why I did that. So Ruby breaks in and she's standing near the window breathing heavily. Dean sighs in exasperation. Dean's like, "Really? Really?" Because I feel like he knows, doesn't he? Like he knows that she's about to save them again and his manhood is like, "Oh no. Oh no." So Ruby says, "Are you going to let me out?" And Henriksen looks at Dean and Sam scratches the devil's trap on the floor with his knife so Ruby can get in. Ruby says, "And they say chivalry's dead. Does anyone have a breath mint? Some guts splattered in my mouth while I was giggling my way in here."
Ew.
Oh, I love that line. I thought it was great. So she walks past everyone into the main office, and Dean and Henriksen follow her while Sam stays to fix the salt line. And when they're in the office, Dean says, "How many are out there?" And Ruby says, 30 at least. That's so far. And Dean says, "Oh, good, 30. 30 hitmen all gunning for us. Who sent them?" Ruby looks at Sam, who is now standing in the doorway and starting to look awkward. And Ruby says, "You didn't tell Dean?" And Dean looks at Sam confused. And Ruby says, "Oh, I'm surprised." And Dean says, "Tell me what?" And Ruby says, "There's a big new up-and-comer, real Pied Piper." And Dean says, "Who is he?" And she says, "Not he, her. Her name is Lilith."
Really?
Yeah. Girls can be evil too. God. And Dean says, "Lilith?" And Ruby says, "And she really, really wants Sam's intestines on a stick because she sees him as competition."
Ew.
Yeah. And Dean says, "You knew about this?" And Sam doesn't answer, but he looks super guilty. He goes, "Well, gee, Sam, is there anything else I should know?" And Ruby says, "How about the two of you talk about this later? We'll need the cult." And Ruby looks at Sam, who doesn't meet her eyes. He looks so
Awkward.
shifty. And then she looks at Dean and she says, "Where's the cult?" And Ruby says, "I'm sorry, I must have blood in my ear because I just thought I heard you say that you were stupid enough to let the cult get grabbed out of your thick, clumsy, idiotic hands. Fantastic. This is just peachy." And Sam's like, "Ruby," like he's trying to like puppy dog her, and she's like, "Shut up." She raises her hand. "Fine. Since I don't see that there's any other option, there's just one other way I know to get you out of here alive." And Dean's all excited. And he's like, "What's that?" And she says, "I know a spell. It'll vaporize every demon in a 1-mile radius, myself included. So you let the cult out of your sight, and now I have to die. So next time, be more careful. How's that for a dying wish?" And Dean is immediately like, "Okay, what do we need to do?" Like, he is so on board. He's just like, death. Death to Ruby. And Ruby is very, very sarcastically goes, "Aw, you can't do anything. This spell is very specific. It calls for a person of virtue." And Dean's nodding like, "I got virtue." And Ruby says, "Nice try. You're not a virgin." And Dean laughs and he says, "Nobody's a virgin."
this is the bit where I voice noted you, and I was like, "Nobody, Dean, nobody is a virgin. What about children?" Oh dear, nobody is a virgin.
My next notes just say exposition and then Dean. Stop, stop, nobody kill any virgins.
I liked that bit when he said that.
That's one of his best lines all episode. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then he goes off on one and he says, I'm not going to let that demon kill some nice, sweet, innocent girl who hasn't even been laid. I mean, look, if that's how you win wars, then I don't want to win.
But before, because we missed an important bit about Sam. So, basically, Ruby's plan is to kill Nancy, and Nancy's like up for it, surprisingly.
Phrasing.
Ruby ignores Dean and Henriksen because they're protesting against it and tries to get Sam to agree. And I was like, interesting. Is she trying to turn him evil?
Da, da, da.
Because she's trying to get Sam to be like, no, you need to agree with me and tell everyone to kill this virgin.
Yeah. She said virgin sacrifice.
Yeah.
The answer. Do it now.
In the middle of the quotes that you were saying that Dean says, Sam and Dean go into a different room, don't they? Because Dean's like, I want to speak to you. And I wrote, they've totally swapped because Sam's like, yeah, kill her. And Dean feels sorry for her because she's never been laid.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
Dean has an alternative plan to Ruby's, and his plan is open all the doors and let all the demons in and fight them. And I wrote, but you're outnumbered, Dean, and you don't have Bobby. And last time this happened, you would have all died if it wasn't for Ruby's knife and the cult.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Which is, do you think that the on-tape exorcism was actually Dean's idea? Do you think he planned like the whole plan?
I do not know, because this, in my show notes, I don't have an MVP because I just wrote whoever's idea it was to come up with that is the MVP. Yeah. But we don't actually know who did it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but probably not.
Okay, now I think it was Dean, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of Casey and the basement. He knows how valuable it is to be able to exorcise them. And he knows that Sam can do it by heart, that he knows the whole thing by heart. So I think he thought of it. I think he was like, let's record Sam doing it. And then when shit goes sideways, we'll just play it over loudspeakers and they won't be able to get away.
Maybe. I feel like it might have been a joint effort. But yeah, okay. I yeah, it could have been Dean.
He can have ideas, Laura. He can be strategic at times. When he's trying to save a virgin.
She hasn't even been laid. We can't let this happen. So yeah, so they obviously tell everyone what Dean's plan is, and Ruby thinks Dean's plan sucks so hard she leaves.
Oh yeah.
And she also tells Sam that he's a disappointment and that she bet on the wrong horse.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And I just wrote, Ruby with the harsh truths.
Yep.
They let her out, and then she tells the crowd of demons that she's leaving and asks who wants to stop her, and then they part like the Red Sea to let her through.
Because she's scary.
Yeah.
She's a femme fatale. I love it.
So then we get the big action sequence of the episode. So Dean, Sam, and Henriksen are all positioned at different doors with guns. They break all of the traps and the salt lines so that the demons can enter, and then they wait. And I wrote, Dean totally has a Rambo vibe here with his bandolier.
He does, yeah. He does. It reminded me of Ash from The Evil Dead, and I actually have notes about it. So if you look at my show notes, I have photos of Ash and The Evil Dead, and then I have Dean in this episode, and I feel like you can see really clearly that there is a very strong resemblance in wardrobe, attitude, and lighting to what happens. Dean's even wearing like the same color shirt as Ash, and when Ash goes all like Rambo, he at one point has this like crossbody leather belt thing, which is what the bandolier reminded me of. So when I see Dean walk out with the bandolier, and I think he has a shotgun as well in this scene, I was
Mhm.
like, oh, it's Evil Dead. So Bruce Campbell, who played Ash, actually wrote a review that we've referred to before. So I thought what would be
Oh, yeah.
really fun is to give you guys some Evil Dead facts, merge it with the supernatural little Easter eggs, and then read you Bruce Campbell's
Mhm.
review, which I have linked, and you can go and look at it yourselves if you want to. So
Yeah, that's cool.
first,
You're totally right as well, though, because like we know that Kripke has said that he likes Evil Dead.
yes. So Eric Kripke said that the show was influenced by Evil Dead and also An American Werewolf in London because he wanted the show to blend horror and comedy the way that those films did. Furthermore, Supernatural featured a recurring character, Ashley J. Williams, which is a reference to Bruce Campbell's character from The Evil Dead. And at one point, Dean uses Ash Williams as one of his monikers, like his fake names.
Yeah.
So it's like we definitely know that this is something that they're doing on purpose, which makes this review even funnier. So Bruce Campbell writes, the first season of Supernatural featured the brothers Winchester, Sam, who's Jared Padalecki, and Dean Jensen Ackles. And yes, it is a prerequisite to give heroes a cool last name, on a mission to find out why their mother died under strange circumstances. The opening sequence for the Hell House episode was very Evil Dead, with an almost identical cabin, following a group of teenagers exploring an abandoned abode in the woods for no good reason. It's nice to know that elements used in horror films 25 years ago are alive and well today. For the most part, I had fun watching, but the show is too damned conservative for what it purports to be. While Supernatural is about scary things, its pace is too earthly, if not downright gravitational, to be frightening. With regard to the lead actors, my poser meter was reading at a steady 25%, 100% would be out of control. And while their style may be natural, quote unquote, these handsome thespians not only failed their chemistry test, they also seemed more bored than afraid. I'd like to remind all modern day actors that it's okay to look at each other occasionally during a scene.
Shut up, Bruce Campbell. I remember you saying about this before and saying that we think he was just jealous
Yeah.
because none of that is true.
Yeah. I know, right? Like, Hell House is an interesting episode, and I would say it's a pretty decent episode. I will admit that I don't think it had like a lot of strong scares to it, but I think it's unfair to compare a horror movie that's was rated like NC-17 or 18 or something to a daytime airing TV show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a network TV. They have to meet certain things, and it does get really gruesome, and there are really scary episodes. So he
He,
just watched one episode and was like, "That's not scary."
yeah, literally, he reviewed an episode and was like, "Oh, it's trying to do what I did already," but they didn't do it well enough. And they're really good looking, but they're not great actors.
Yeah, but also they can be both, and they are both.
Yeah, they are both. It's true. They're amazingly good looking, and also they are fantastic actors.
Yeah, shut up, Bruce Campbell.
Like, I love you, but no. You know, you are a legend. You are an absolute legend. However, no, you're incorrect. You need to go back and watch another episode.
Yeah. Also, there's room for everyone. You don't have to be threatened. Feel threatened. I'm glad you read that out because I know we've referenced that before, but I don't think you read it out before.
No, I've never read it out before, and I thought it would be pretty entertaining as an Easter egg.
So back to the scene. Henrikson is kicked in the face by a demon, and I wrote, "Oh no, what a shame." Then demons start running in all the other doors, and Dean and Sam are shooting at them. Sam is tackled to the ground. Henrikson is slammed against a wall and choked. Sam hits a demon with his gun. Henrikson splashes holy water on a demon, who then yells and hisses. And I had a question here. I wrote, I thought the idea was to save the humans being possessed. That's why they didn't like Reeby's plan.
Yeah.
But aren't they killing all of the humans now anyway? Because they're like shooting them.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. They could have all fit in the Impala and driven away, and everything would have been fine.
Yeah, although, but Ruby's point was, we kill one person instead of
And save
hundreds.
everyone.
And now they were
Yeah.
like, no, we can't do that. And now they're killing loads of people anyway.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So Dean and Henriksen, they then have a cool back-to-back fighting moment in the middle of the corridor because they bump into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then Henriksen leads demons further inside the building, and Sam is still hitting demons with his gun. Hot. Outside, we see more demons running in, and the deputy, so Phil and Nancy, are on the roof.
Yeah. And Nancy says, when this is over, I'm going to have so much sex. And Phil looks at Nancy and she says, but not with you. We better move.
Sucks to be you, Phil.
It sucks to suck, Phil. Because after he did all of his bullshit with the salt line and everything else, she's just like, absolutely not you. And we know she's thinking about
She
Dean.
wants Dean, yeah.
Who wouldn't want Dean?
She says that they better move. And as the rest of them are fighting inside, Nancy and Phil close all of the doors and put salt in front of them and the windows so that the demons are trapped inside. Sam is now spraying holy water everywhere, and demons are screaming all over the place. One of the demons comes forward and puts her hands up, slamming Sam and Dean into the wall. Dean shouts, "Henriksen, now!" And we see Henriksen fighting off a demon as he goes into a smaller room and presses play on a tape recorder. We then hear Sam speaking Latin over the tannoy, and the demons all cover their ears. And then my initial notes were, ooh, Sam's Latin on the tannoy system. Hot.
So for American listeners and other listeners, what she's talking about is the all call, like the speaker system.
Oh, like the PA, is that not a...
Yeah, the PA, because it's just a British only phrase. I got here and I was like, what the hell is a tan? What are you talking about? Who's tanned?
I think it's a one of those, because it's a brand name that's then just become, like when you say Kleenex
name
instead of tissues.
Yeah.
Or Hoover instead of vacuum.
Yeah.
Which is probably another British one.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the PA then. That was really cool, actually.
It was amazing.
That was a cool idea, whoever's idea that was.
I love how aggressively Sam is reading it as well. He's just, there's a part at the end where he's shouting. It's amazing and dramatic. It is hot. And I wrote, okay, the exorcism on tape is actually genius.
Yeah, it is. We cut back to outside, and before Nancy can seal the last door, a demon runs out, and she screams, so he looks back at her, but then he runs off. I thought he was going to kill her at first. Did you?
I did too, yeah.
And I thought it was going to be someone that she knew, like a relative.
Yeah.
That killed her.
Yeah.
And it was going to be really sad. But no, he just runs off.
They're anticlimactic.
Inside, the demons are all screaming and banging on the doors trying to escape, but they can't. Then all the demons' smoke or dust escapes the human bodies and accumulates on the ceiling in a big demony swirl. As Sam's recording reaches its conclusion, the demon swirl turns into a fireball and explodes, leaving nothing behind. And then Sam and Dean fall to the floor because they're not being held up anymore by the demonic force.
I wrote, this should have been scary, but they relied too much on CGI.
Yeah, the smoke on the ceiling and the lightning.
Because the whole demon dust situation was just too much, and then the fake fire and it's so obviously CGI that it just takes you out of it. There was a real opportunity to make that really scary, but they did no practical effects. It's all CGI, and it just does not work.
And we know that they've used real fire before, because the pilot episode was real fire. Who directed this episode?
Fire a few times.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. It was Philip. I don't know how to say his last name. Sgriccia. Scriccia, maybe.
Okay. It's definitely not a Kim Manners episode, is it? We'll leave it at that.
It's not a Kim Manners episode, no. Kim Manners is the gold standard.
Yeah. And when you get a Kim Manners directed and a John Sheehan writing, you know it's a good one.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Or when Kripke writes.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when Henriksen comes in and then Dean just kind of shrugs at him.
Yeah.
It was a bit sitcom, but it was funny.
Yeah. Henriksen walks into the office and chuckles slightly as he wipes blood from his lip. Dean shrugs. And the people who'd been possessed start getting up, and then the electricity starts flickering back on, but it's like such a knowing shrug. It is really good.
Yeah.
So then Henriksen says that he better call in and that it's a hell of a story that he won't be telling. And Sam says, "What are you going to tell him?" And Henriksen says that basically just the least ridiculous lie that he can come up with in the next 5 minutes. And Dean says, "Good luck with that. Not to pressure you or anything, but what are you planning to do about us?" And he says, "I'm going to kill you." And then there's a long hesitation. And Sam and Dean Winchester were in the chopper when it caught fire. Nothing left. Can't even identify them with dental records. Rest in peace, guys. And then they kind of have this bro moment where they shake hands.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Now get out of here." And so they go to leave. And then there's a cut. And we realize that it's later on. And this woman walks into the police station holding a little girl by the hand. So the little girl walks up to Nancy, who's sweeping the main office, and she says, "Well, hey there." And the little girl says, "Excuse me, I'm looking for two boys. They're brothers." And Henriksen is sitting on the desk and Phil standing nearby looking at this file in the background. And she says, "One's really tall and one's really cute." No,
Hang on, Lilith.
I stand by it. Sam's
but
defining feature is that he's tall and Dean is
but
hot.
but Sam is actually tall and cute.
It's true. It's true. So Nancy laughs and says, "What's your name, sweetie?" And she's so charming and so sweet. And the little girl says, "Lilith." And then her eyes turn white. And then they immediately realize that she's a demon. And Henriksen tries to make a move, but it's too late. Lilith raises her hand and white light fills the office. And Henriksen, Nancy, and Phil scream.
Yeah. Her white eyes were actually quite creepy. I liked them.
Yeah, that was scary. She gave a really good creepy kid.
Yeah. I still don't think she was British, though.
No, she was not British. There's no way. We can watch it again, but I think I sound more British than that kid did.
Yeah. My initial notes were creepy kid alert, and then, oh no, it's Lilith.
I wrote down Lilith. One's really tall and one's really cute. And I was like, Sam equals tall. Dean equals hot. Lilith kills everyone. Ruby has a rant, which is what's coming up next is Ruby's rant.
Yeah, in the motel. So we cut to a motel. There's a knock at the door. Dean answers and Ruby comes in. And she looks at Sam and tells them to turn on the news. And then they see what's happened at the police station, although it's being reported that it was a gas main leak and an explosion that caused it. And we learn that everyone died, including Nancy, Henriksen, and Phil. Ruby says it must have been Lilith and gives them bags, and she says that they're for protection. And I wrote, she's so mad though. She says they should have just gone with her plan, as theirs ended up killing everyone, and then she leaves. Do we find out what's in the bags at any point?
What's in the box?
What's in the bag?
Yeah. I don't know. I do
Just
not
like a
recall. She's
protection
just like
bag.
witchcraft. Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like general protection. I think I don't remember there ever being a breakdown of what she put in the bags.
Okay.
My notes for this scene are Ruby has a rant. Sam and Dean are handsome and sad. The end.
Perfect.
So
yeah.
Yeah. That's that episode.
Mm-hmm. It was right.
Yeah.
We've had
Not
so
my
many
favorite.
good episodes in season 3 that
Season 3's been pretty epic, yeah.
there's a lot of action, and I suppose it was quite good for the story and the plot, as in like what's advancing it a bit. But
Yeah.
it wasn't my favorite episode.
No.
I know that the next one is called Ghost Faces, so I'm assuming those guys are coming back.
Oh my God, I love that episode. It is the funniest thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. When it first came out, I just remember being really annoyed. Be like, not these douchebags again. But I find it really funny now, so I'm very excited to watch it.
There's been lots of funny episodes in this season as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I look forward to that then.
Yeah.
Did you have anything for the end of the episode?
I do think
Final
that it's
thoughts?
My final thoughts are I kind of like the fact that you have Bella, who's a femme fatale, Ruby, who's a femme fatale,
Yeah.
Lilith, who's the big bad, and Nancy, who theoretically could have been the virgin sacrifice. Um, that a lot of the action and key pivotal points in this episode were female.
Yeah.
Um, so while I didn't love the cop drama of it all, it is nice that it has kind of a feminist edge to it. So Sarah Gamble can come out of the corner for that.
We didn't get enough Bella or Ruby though, really.
We didn't. No, we didn't get a tattoo scene. That's the part I'm the most mad about.
Yeah.
I was robbed.
You know how when we had that episode where we were like, it would have been more interesting if we just followed
Bella stay
Bobby
with
and
Bobby.
Ruby.
Sorry, Ruby stay with Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah. We should have had an episode where we see what Bella's up to and
Yeah.
what Ruby's up to when she goes off and them getting their tattoos.
100%. I want it. Jensen and Jared, get on it. Make it happen.
Do you want to do games?
I do want to do games.
Okay. Villain hot or not?
Who's is Lilith
There's
the villain?
not really. I suppose so. I've put
Yeah,
I wrote
so,
Henriksen,
like not
kind
applicable.
of sometimes. Any of the demons, no. And Lilith is a child.
Yeah. Ruby's hot. She's like an anti-hero. She is kind of villainous in this episode when she's like cut out her heart. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Which if I can count her as a villain, then Ruby's hot. Henriksen, like the actor who plays Henriksen is hot, but Henriksen is such a douchebag. I find myself physically incapable of being attracted to him.
Yeah, that's why I wrote kind of, because he is, and he actually looked, he looks hotter in this episode than he did last time we saw him, I thought. But he's just such an unlikable character that I'm like, nah.
That's the problem, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just no one's hot.
Nah.
Episode scare rating
0.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. It was action. I wrote
was
Lilith's
action.
eyes were scary, and the demon head shaking effect was quite spooky. I wrote 3 ? But I think that's too high.
Yeah. If I have to give it a number that's not 0, I give it a 1. Purely because of the creepy child at the end.
Yeah.
That's the only part that was actually scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't scary.
No.
Favorite quotes?
Oh, I love a quote. I love a quote so much. One's really tall and one's really cute. I also love "Don't be such a wuss." When Sam is digging into Dean's arm. When Nancy says, "When this is over, I'm gonna have so much sex, but not with you."
I had 2. I had Dean saying, "But you didn't shoot the deputy."
That one's amazing.
And then Dean saying, "Stop! Nobody kill any virgins."
Yeah.
That was so funny.
That was amazing. I love that part.
What was your favorite thirst trap?
I guess it's probably the fight sequence where Dean comes out wearing the bandolier and is just like trying to kill everything around him. And then for Sam, it's when we hear his angry Latin over the PA because he's also fighting. So he's fighting and looking super hot and menacing. And then you hear his menacing Latin, and that's really cool. What about you?
For Dean, it would be when he's having his wound patched up by Nancy.
And that was sexy. That was probably hotter than the bandolier.
And for Sam, I just wrote anytime he's chanting Latin at a demon. But it probably would be overall, I guess, the one over the recording.
Yeah.
Oh, MVP. So this is what I wrote. I wrote whoever's idea it was to trap the demons and exorcise them via tape. And I wrote joint effort ?
Dean. It's Dean. It was Dean's idea. I'm telling you, it's Dean.
Okay, we'll give it to Dean then.
He's capable of being smart when it comes to trying to get women to have sex. He didn't want her to die a virgin. He was determined that she was going to survive.
How did that work out for him?
It did not. Not at all.
Motel rating?
I don't remember the motel.
No, I didn't either. I didn't notice it standard. Was it just the bit at the very end? I think there
Yeah,
was
I
only that
guess
bit with
so.
Ruby at the end.
Oh, yeah. You don't really see much of it. It's like 2 beds and a TV, isn't it? Or something to
Yeah,
that
it's just
effect.
like,
I didn't really notice the decor. I don't really think that there was a theme for this one personally. If there was, I didn't pay attention to it. So I give it like a 1, I guess.
yeah, I don't think we saw enough of it. I think it was just a standard motel though, so I'll give it a 3.
Yeah.
Seemed right.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Maybe it should be a 3. I'm very excited about the next episode.
Yeah, I am now as well.
Definitely let me know when you're watching it so we can do our live WhatsApp watching it together sort of situation, because
Mhm.
I there's going to be so much witty banter. Like,
I'll probably watch it tomorrow night.
yeah, we're going to be so funny in the next episode. You guys should all make sure that you tune in.
Yeah.
Should we say goodbye?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at the Witches of Letters podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.